Hey crafty friends, thanks for spending some time with me again today. I'm creating a pretty card today using my hot foil machine, and I am foiling on acetate and I'm creating a shaker card. So what I've got here is my Go Press and foil machine, nice and hot. That's my number one tip, is to leave your plate sitting on the machine, getting some heat into it for a while. I've got two foils here. This one here is a matte gold. It actually looks shiny, but it's more of a matte gold. And the other one is silver. But I did stick with the gold. So you can see here, while I'm prepping my machine, I've got my foil that I'm going to lay pretty side down on top of my plate. Then I've got my acetate. So you want to be using a heat resistant acetate when you use your foiling machine. And then my machine needs 3 shims just for some pressure. So you can see now I've pushed that off to the side. I'm going to let that get nice and hot, and I'm going to create a frame. So these are just using the Pinkfresh nesting rectangle dies, and I'm going to pop them through my die cutting machine just so I've got a frame around that foiled part to hold my shaker pieces. So all the while my machine is off to the side, getting nice and hot, getting some heat into it. Now I'm going to run it through my machine and pop it back in the dock. And you'll see this worked beautifully for me. It doesn't always work perfectly first time. Sometimes I actually put it back in the dock and let it sit for another few minutes before I run it through a second time. But as luck would have it, I didn't need to do that this time. So I've got my pretty foiled piece of acetate there. I'm just going to trim that down. So I'm trying to trim it so it is nice and straight, so that when I pop my frame over the top, everything is lined up. So just taking off the edges there, making sure that I'm holding down that guide, because acetate is a little bit slippery sometimes, so it's easy to get caught in the trimmer. I'm going to add that frame over the top now. And I'm going to add that just with some double-sided tape. Just having a little look just to see how it's coming along. I actually refer back to that card base quite often just to see how things are progressing. So I've just got some thin double-sided tape there. And you'll notice just up the top there, I already have my little focal piece made and ready to go. So again, that's just using Pinkfresh, the washi, Pinkfresh washi, and I've die cut that out. I've made a little bit of a cluster, just stuck it onto a little circle, die cut, and added my sentiment. And then at first I wasn't going to do a shaker card. I was actually just going to leave it as an acetate window. But then I thought, let's just go full steam ahead. Let's just get all the glitz and all the glamour happening. So I've got that on top of my card base there, and then I think maybe the blue might look better. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I always second guess myself. Let me know, should I have stuck with just the white background? Do you like the blue background? I feel like you can see the gold foiling just a little bit better with the blue background. But you're going to see I'll probably go back and forth a few times here. But I've committed now to the blue background. And I'm going to add that to my card base. Actually, if you stick around to the end of the video, I did actually create another card with that white base. So you can see which one you prefer best. So my blue cardstock is now on. And then I'm going to add some of my little shaker pieces. I did have to just trim up my card a little bit. Sometimes I think it's easier just to ink blend the background. For some reason, I never seem to cut a card straight. But anyway, there's always a workaround, isn't there? So you can see here, undecided whether to do a shaker or not, but I decided to go ahead with it. I'm just holding the top of my card down so my shaker pieces don't go everywhere with some mint tape. And then I'm just going to add a little bit to my card base, just spreading them out as well. Otherwise, if you leave them piled in the middle, sometimes they get stuck behind that acetate and it's a little bit hard for them to move. So I'm just spreading them around my card base. And now I'm taking off the foam tape. Again, you want to make sure that your foam tape is right up to the edges of each piece so that you've got no room at all for your little shaker pieces to fall out of your card. And now it's just as simple as adding my focal point. Those little Pinkfresh washi pieces are fantastic for quick crafting. They are a favourite. So I'm going to pop that in the middle and that's my card done. I'll leave you some close-ups at the end of the card that I made, plus the extra one that I did in the white. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to click the like button, consider subscribing, share with a friend. And until next time, take care. I'll chat with you soon. Bye for now.